Alright, this is the last day of word problems. What we're going to see today is we're going to look at science and investments. So we're going to be dealing with percentages at first, and then we're going to move on to some break-even problems. So the first problem we're going to look at is this. Suppose you combine chunks of 20% copper alloy and 60% copper alloy to create 80 pounds of a slab of 52% copper alloy. How many pounds of each chunk do you need? A lot of people notice that we have the 20% being added with 60% to create this 52%. But we're never going to have percentages stand alone. So what we want to make sure that we do is we talk about, we're going to take so much of this 20%, we're going to multiply it times x. We'll call this the x one. We'll call this the y. And we're going to take the 20 or the 60% and multiply it times the y. Those percentages are always decimals. We're going to say that equals 52% of, I want exactly 80 pounds. Remember, percentages are not going to stand alone, so don't ever say it equals 52%. 52% of the total amount that you want. The second equation is the one that people have trouble figuring out because they think, well, we've already used all the information. But that's where we want to talk about the part plus part equals the total. The easy one, the simple one, we're going to say we're going to have so much of the 20% plus so much of the 60% copper alloy to give us a total weight of 80 pounds. So this problem, before I begin, I'm going to go ahead and multiply my 0.25 times 80 to get 41.6. My second equation will just stay the same. Second equation times 0.0 or 0.20. Again, I don't mind the decimals. If you don't like the decimals, you can eliminate all those. So I end up getting the same first equation. My second equation reads, though, negative 0.2x plus negative 0.20y equals 80 times negative 0.2, which is just negative 16. So this gives me 0.40y, and when I add those together, I get 25.6. I'll divide by 0.40, and you guys can do this on your calculators. Y gives you 64 pounds. So Y stood for the 60%. So we got 64 pounds of 60% copper alloy. So there's one of my answers. The second answer is much easier to find using the second equation. So when I subtract 64 off of both sides, I end up getting x is 16, and that is 16, x stands for the 20% copper alloy. So I need 16 pounds of the 20% copper alloy. The second problem we're going to look at is dealing with money and investments. It's going to be set up in a similar way. I will be only be able to put this up in this particular video. I've got a total here of $469.75. That's how much interest this person received. They invested $6,000. So I'll call this one X and this one Y. So 0.075X plus 0.08Y. So much was invested at 7.5%, so much was invested at 8%, and it gave us a total of $469.75 that we made from the interest. The $6,000 is the other total, and that's figured by doing your two parts together. So much was invested at the 7.5% and the other part at the 8%. We'll finish this up on the next video.